We've always had a love of horror films and fantasy and sci-fi, and we wanted to branch out and do something that we would enjoy and that would be entertaining for people to watch. Well, casting was interesting because as the story kind of unfolded, we realised that we knew and had worked with a couple of people that we could cast in those roles.
Which made it, you know, quite nice, because as we were developing the script, it was quite interesting doing that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With those people in mind, because we knew what they were capable of doing, and it's nice to visualise those characters, you know, in our heads.
Yeah, and it was quite easy to to write for them in a certain way, but then the other characters which were emerging and developing, we then had to think about who we could cast in those roles, and I knew a couple of actors and actresses that we could use, but it was just making sure that they could actually play those parts.
We're just two normal guys just hanging out with Kate.
Just talking.
Like, hey, what's up? And then suddenly,
Oh my god! Is that okay?
Chaotic.
That's how it happens.
Acting.
Yep. That's alright.
Well, Clem was quite interesting because the character of Clem really changed from when we first introduced that character. Originally it was going to be a man, and they were literally going to be a turnkey and have 2 lines. But then as the story developed, we thought we need to have a bigger character here. So we changed the gender, and she became...
She started stealing the show from a script stage, really, and we knew that character was going to be great fun, and just crucial to get the right actress to play her.
My next scene is my big scene, where I put all of these film silly people right about the story about William Baylock, because this man Spencer, well, he's told them an absolute load of rubbish, so I'm going to put them right and scare the living daylights out of them. That's what I hope. And that's my next scene.
When we cast Judith, we just had her in for the first reading, and she was just amazing.
She just looked amazing. I mean, she was a great face, and you could tell that by the time you lit her face properly, it would just be all quite interesting looking and a bit kind of craggy. I mean, as handsome a woman as she is, you know, she could really go to town on the creepy look, and she just nailed the performance. And it was really getting the big long speech Clem has in the caves. That was the test, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And she cracked that.
She came in and nailed it right from the off. She knew that she was very in touch with that character, and the performance was fantastic.
And she veers between being very creepy in that performance and actually sometimes terrified of what she's saying herself. And that was the key to Clem.
Remember, there is more in the darkness than you know.
For me, the character of Joe is the most crucial to get right, because it's the character of all of the characters that the audience identifies with the most and sort of takes you on the journey through the film. So really important to get right, quite subtle. You have to like that character. And we originally had a really interesting actress cast in the role who we worked with at rehearsals on the script stage, who was great, but it just, something wasn't gelling there, was it?
It wasn't quite gelling, and also our schedule for filming had moved back, so we had a bit of time to recast, and we wanted to get the character right. I was teaching on a course in Bristol at the time, and Susie was on it, and as soon as I saw her, I just thought, oh my god, this is Jo.
Yeah.
So we had her in for we had a little deception, because we said that we needed an understudy for the role, and so we had her in for a reading, and she was just, again, she was quite perfect.
Brilliant. We just filmed on a mobile phone, and it was Jo.
Waking up in the dark is enough to flip her out. She thought this thing would go unnoticed.
You could tell straight away the face was great. You immediately connected with the character, and it was in the eyes.
Yeah.
What can you say? You know, it's just she was Jo. You know? we had a storyboard artist come in at an early stage, our friend Eddie, and he did some amazing designs, which really for us was the first time it was like bringing the visuals to life, obviously. And he used Redcliffe Caves as his backdrop, which we hadn't got permission, or we didn't think we would get permission to use those caves. And actually, you look at the storyboards now, and it's uncannily like...
It's almost exactly how we shot it.
Yeah, I mean, it really had a huge effect on what we did. And not that we religiously pulled the storyboards out at the Folly or in the caves and studied them, but it's great having that there in terms of script writing.
It was great having that visual reference at that stage as well for us, because sometimes it is quite difficult because we weren't that familiar with the caves. Because he'd done his research, it really helped with us visualising what we could do in that location.
And because I'm an editor by trade, I think we were quite frugal about what we needed to do, and when we knew we had the coverage, really. But we thought it through pretty intensely, didn't we, as to what...
But that's the great thing of having Darren direct, because he knows, essentially, when you're on such a tight schedule, he knows what we need to get and what we can miss out if necessary.
And also, the fact that we knew the caves quite well, and they were storyboarded and what have you, we knew that if we just span the camera around, we could get another scene without changing the lights too much. So little things like that save you a lot of time.
At the end of the tunnel there. What we're trying to do is then swing the camera around and get one of Bernie's bits of the camera, so 11, I believe.
It is, yep.
And then while we're here, we're going to swing around and get Spooky Plague Doctor over shoulder of Kev here. So I'm just racking my brains if there's anything else we can get while we're set up in these sort of situations to save time.
Well, locations were tricky at times. Day 2, the weather got us because we were filming at a remote Folly in Gloucester, and all roads were pretty much flooded that day.
The worst flooding of the year that morning. Couldn't believe it. And so we couldn't start filming. We eventually got there, but it was midday by the time
We'd lost half a day's shoot.
And we only had 3 days at this location to get all of the topside shots.
Day 2, and right now we should be at the Folly shooting, but
It would be setting up,
because
to be
of
honest.
all the rain yesterday, which has been a bitch, there's flooding in Bristol and Gloucestershire, so we don't even know if we can get to the Folly because the main road up there is flooded. So we're having a cup of coffee, and we're waiting for people to turn up in dribs and drabs, and then the convoy will be heading over.
To be stuck on a side
Lock the
road.
doors, lower the blinds,
And power up the smoke machine.
because we are still making a horror movie, baby.
Fast forward 2 hours. Anyway.
And that morning, when nothing was happening, I didn't think we were going to get anything done that day.
No,
because it didn't look like we could get through any of those roads.
I thought we'd lost a whole day and that was it. Everything was going to be out of sync because we had people booked in for specific days. Specialist makeup people, effects people, and we couldn't afford to go off schedule. Really.
No. Oddly enough, the weather helped with the look of the film.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because interesting, the continuity, because we shot out of sequence, certainly for the outdoor stuff, it was always the same weather whenever we went outdoors, because the sun did come out there, didn't it? But we were in the caves. Ironically, this is quite sunny when we were in the caves for 7 days. But whenever we did a topside shot, even a few pickups in February, when we did a few months after the October shoot, the weather was constant, wasn't it?
It always had
Consistent.
that overcast kind of feel. which-
Overcast and a bit rainy.
Yeah.
And it actually all cuts together, perfectly. Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on?
Mark's got stuck whilst he was trying to get out, and now we're all trying to help him out, but he's got all the equipment in the back of the car. So it's not going anywhere, and the ground is really, really soft, and everyone else is trying to pack up. So it's chaos, the last day of the Folly. Come on then, Ollie.
Right, we're going to go back.
1, 2, 3, go! Push, slow it down!
Stop. Look, take as much equipment out as you can to get this car lighter. Yeah. Stop.
Okay.
There's a bump!
Look at the bump!
There's a bump!
There's the bastard bump! Oh, thank you all very much. Right, let's down the track.
How did you do that?